Olá a todos, bem-vindos a mais uma conversa da Look Meg. Estamos a passos largos para a edição deste ano do Comendatio e temos mais uma grande banda entre nós nesta, vamos dizer, neste aperitivo de entrevistas que vão nos levar até esta grande edição que está a ser preparada com todo o cuidado, amor e carinho por uma equipa incrível de profissionais e com um alinhamento de bandas fora de série. Uma delas é precisamente os VOLA. E os VOLA estão hoje comigo na pessoa do Adam Janzi, que é o seu baterista. My dear Adam, thank you for accepting our invitation and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to see you.
Thank you, thank you. I would like to begin this little conversation with you, going back to 2016, because I think it on that year all started, and I would like to know how did it all started, and what means Vola.
Ah. So the band actually has technically existed, I think, since 2007, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But then in 2000, might have been 15, they released
15.
their
Mm-hmm.
first album in Mazes, and then it was re-released through a label the year after. I joined the band in 2017, so right after. And that was my first like professional outside of Sweden musical gig. So did my first tour with VOLA in 2018 when we supported Monuments, and then we've done headline tours and done my first stuff in the US with VOLA. So kind of grown together with the band. But the name VOLA, it in Latin languages it means to fly. And that's kind of where it comes from. We like to go for this idea of, when a big chorus opens up, you almost feel like you levitate a bit, or
Yeah.
you feel like you're going up into the sky in a way.
In your concerts, you want to take everybody with you flying.
Yes, exactly.
That's the spirit of it. That's the spirit. Last year you have released, for me it's a great album, and the title of the album, it's absolutely fabulous, because nobody is a friend of a phantom, but you are friend of a phantom. So I want to meet this phantom. He's a nice guy, he's not a nice guy. Who is this phantom? Adam.
It's a good question. So the title, it's our vocalist Asger who came up with it. Basically, the songs on that album, they deal with different types of phantoms. A phantom that kind of latches onto you, whether it's tragedy or alcoholism, or maybe on the other side of the spectrum, community and something more positive in that way. Those are some sort of phantoms that are here but not here. And this album explores those different kind of friendships with those different phantoms. And not every friendship is good. Some friendships are destructive. So that friendship with alcoholism is a friendship with a destructive phantom. So that's the general idea behind
and
the album.
that sometimes the relation between us and the community, it's harder too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Because if we look around, at this time around the world, it's crazy what is going on in the world,
Yeah.
not only with wars and everything, but in the maintaining of the relationship between people. Because you are gay, I can't be your friend. Because you are whatever, I can. It's crazy. There's a lot of phantom over there.
Yes. And I feel like we feel that humanity has been around for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. We've been humans. Well, on the grand scale, it's barely anything. I feel like humans are now entering our teenage years,
Yeah.
which means there's a lot of bullying, there's a lot of insecurity, there's a lot of this craziness that goes on that we all go through as teenagers, but it's on a grand scale. And at the same time, we're holding immense power that we're not really equipped to
Yeah.
deal with. And with that recipe, we end up seeing what we see. And I think it was Carl Sagan who said it. One of his fears of where society was headed is this place where a society that is built on science and no one or barely anyone understanding the science or understanding what it's built on. And I mean, we are slaves to our bad instincts leading us to these ridiculous conflicts. And we are enslaved to these extremely powerful technologies. Some even look not so damaging, like our phones.
But
But
they
how many
are.
of us can really handle the
Yeah.
power of a phone in a healthy way? I would say most of us cannot.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. And then
like
we
you
are
say, many
that,
phantoms.
then we are in the hands of somebody that are a little bit you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Why the drums, dear Adam? Why the
Mm.
drums?
So I started out playing guitar. Yes. I played for like half a year. I
Half
could
an
play,
ear.
yeah, I could play Smoke on the Water,
That's
barely.
nice.
So I was like, okay, well, I gotta try something else. I was in school in music class. I was maybe 12 or something. And our music teacher taught us how to play a 4/4 groove on the drums, the basic groove. And there was a drum kit, so everyone one by one could take turns to try on the drum kit. But the class ended before I had the chance to try.
Hmm.
So I was a bit sad, and I was walking home with a friend, and he said, "You know what, Adam? It's okay. I think the drums are a bit too difficult for you anyway." So I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go into drums." Then I started playing drums, and I loved it, and now I'm
You
here.
you like it. Do you have someone that you admire?
Yeah, so I would say in terms of drums, my
Hmm.
main inspiration is Lars Ulrich from Metallica.
Of
Um,
course.
yeah, he's. If I had to choose one, it's him. Then I can name many more, of course, but
But why
yeah.
he seems so special?
I know a lot of people,
Hmm.
especially in the prog genre, they say, well, he cannot play well enough or fast enough or technical enough or whatever. I was never interested in those things. There is something really emotional in what he does. He doesn't hide what he's doing. He doesn't put it behind a barrier or a facade. He just puts it all out there and people can love it or hate it, and he doesn't care. And more importantly, his drumming, what it does for songwriting, I think that's what really appeals to me. He doesn't play the most technical stuff or the most impressive stuff, but he plays exactly what works for the song. And yeah, he plays from the heart. And it's not only something that fits the song, but it's something that elevates the song. And right away, when I heard his drumming, I was hooked because of that. That I knew that I want to be that kind of drummer.
But now I have to ask you because
Mhm.
you are on a prog band.
Yes.
You cannot fail. How do you manage that? Because you, the drummers are always, for me, is like a time bomb.
Mm,
Nothing can be wrong there.
mm,
But in a prog and with the soul that you have, with that heart, beautiful that you show us now,
mm.
how do you do it?
So there is a secret to
Ah.
that. Every drummer fails every live show, but we hide it. We make it look as if it's not failing. It's if you play a fill and it turns out it didn't become the fill that you wanted to play, you turn it into something else. No one even notices. You yourself, you know that that's not really what I wanted to do, but you pull it off with style. Um, but it's this way of going with the flow. And if you go with the flow, things don't always go according to plan,
Yeah.
but you follow the wind. Well, then technically it's not failing. It's just being a being part of the music in a way.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Do you like more to be in studio recording with the time schedule and everything, or you like to go on stage and let's see what happens, let's go with the flow? Which one do you prefer the best?
In terms of playing the music,
Mm-hmm.
I prefer live because that's where you can really just dive into the emotion of it and have a connection with people. Um, but I really like writing music, writing the songs. Um, that's something that I really, really love. When you go into the studio to record, the songs are already done
Mm-hmm.
and you're just capturing it. It's a lot of fun, but I have to choose playing live. That's what it all comes down to for me.
Can you tell me a little bit about the artwork of this album? Because it's very cute, it's very beautiful, it's very intense. And what do you want to transmit with it? And if you can tell me a little bit about the artwork.
Yeah. So I agree. I find the artwork to be very, very beautiful.
Yes,
We every time we've looked for artwork for our albums, we've looked um, at different artists that create art, visual art. Um, and mainly we use Instagram to just scroll and find new people that we had no idea about.
of course.
And one of those turned out to be uh, the person who made the artwork for Friend of a Phantom, a Turkish man. I think is his first name. Um, Incredible artist. And he made this piece. He posted it, and we just reached out and said, you know, we love it. We want to make an album artwork out of it. So then we talked, we sorted it out, and he was okay to sell it to us. And we felt like the reason why we took it is we felt it resonated so well with the title of the album and with the general mood and with what VOLA is about. There are elements of flight in it,
Hmm.
but the way the VOLA sound is sometimes uplifting and happy, and sometimes it's depressive and sad. And the album kind of catches both sides of that in terms of flight. Sometimes you feel like you're elevated, you're soaring, and sometimes you feel like your soul is flying away, it's leaving you, you know. Um, and this artwork balances that with the cuteness and the sadness on this person's face. Um, so right away when we saw it, we all felt like, okay, this we don't need to look further.
Yeah. You you found the right art for the heart and the heart and heart that you did for the
Yeah.
album. Yeah. Yeah. Another thing that I was very curious about, because you released a single 1 year in advance related with the launching of the album.
Hmm.
Why did you choose as a band to do that? And the result was exactly as you expected?
Um, so the making of the album was quite different because
Mm-hmm.
usually you book a studio for a few days, you go
Yeah.
in, you start with recording the drums, and then after that you record all the rest. Um, so we recorded the drums in a studio and all the rest at home. But when we went into the studio, we only had half the album done. So we needed to book another studio session. And when we did that, the album was still not fully done. So we even had to finish a song in the studio. On the last day of recording the drums, we finished writing "Bleed Out," um, but that meant that the process was a bit disjointed, and it was
Mm-hmm.
also because we were just coming out of the pandemic.
Pandemic, yeah.
So the songwriting itself was a bit disjointed because that whole period of time was disjointed. It felt like everything was outside of time,
Yeah.
but at the same time, time was passing so fast. So we were a bit confused and didn't know how to relate to time passing normally again. Um, and something in that made us decide to, you know what, let's release a single now. And then when the rest of the album is mixed and ready and the release of it is set up with the label and everything, then we'll release the rest. I don't remember exactly what the reason was,
Hmm.
but it was something to that effect of we want to give some music now. So that's why we couldn't leave that song waiting.
Everybody after the pandemic, everybody was hunger to have new music, to have
Yeah.
new songs, to go to concerts, to do
Mm.
anything. But don't you think after the pandemic is kind of the time is running away from us
Yes.
because we
Yes.
want to do everything and it seems like it's going too far, too
Exactly.
fast.
Yeah. Yes. It really felt like that. It was
Yeah.
running away from us. Um, Now finally I feel like okay, we're back to normal
On the
in
right
terms of
track.
that. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I know it's a common question, but your sound goes beyond prog. So I have to ask you, how do you characterize the VOLA sound?
So if I have to put a label on it, I would say modern metal.
Modern metal.
Um, but like you say, there is it's a I would actually say that it has such a broad spectrum to it that depending on what you listen to, the sound is characterized differently.
Hmm.
But some things that are in common, no matter what song or album you listen to, is deep atmosphere and deep emotion. Um, so that's kind of where I would characterize the sound, um, but without putting a genre on it.
We leave that for the record stores.
Yeah.
You are all different persons, and I imagine that you have all different influences. It's easy for you, with being a band, to join together and bring all the different influences that you have, and to the band, to the volley sound, or you keep the influences outside, and in the studio you are just an identity called VOLA, and everybody's going to the same way.
So we try to make sure that all our individual influences can come in,
Come in, okay.
and they blend together. That's kind of what becomes a big part of the Vola sound. Um, and when they blend together, we also see what Vola is
Yep.
and see how that fits into it. But all four of us, we listen to very different things from each other, and it's important that everything can connect. If we were just putting our personal influences on the side, I fear we would sound too much like what already exists out there. Part of the magic is what we bring individually into the mix.
It's kind of the soul of the band,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
exactly.
beautiful. That's beautiful. A band with a soul, a beautiful soul, and friend from a phantom. I love the album. I love the name of the album. Tell me about the song "We Will Not Disband," because I
Mm,
think it was the first song to be written for the album. Um,
mm,
Tell me a little bit about this song, and how did this song um, kind of made the path for the rest of the album, or
mm.
didn't?
Um, I don't think it paved the way for the rest of the album.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like a start. Um, but the rest of the album was still like different roads to be explored. But that song, We Will Not Disband, I really enjoy playing it and I really enjoy listening to it. It's one of the friendlier phantoms,
Yeah.
um, talking about community and the strength of fellowship and
Yeah.
sticking together, and the way the music kind of brings that vibe to the front. Um, I really like it. Usually, I prefer darker music, but that one I really enjoy. It's a fresh breath, fresh wind.
For a guy that likes Metallica, then likes a little bit darker music, you have two sides of you.
Yes, yeah.
The devil and the angel, you know? Another thing that is very curious about this album is that you had Anders from In Flames
Yeah.
singing on it. How did it happen? And why did you invite him to come and play with you, to sing with you?
So we heard that Anders was a fan of VOLA, and then he reached out to us when we played in Los Angeles. He wanted to come to the show together with Björn from In Flames. They wanted to come to the show because they liked our music and to meet us and say hi. So we said, of course, and we hung out a little bit, got to know each other. They had a nice time at the show. And then some months passed. We finished writing the song Cannibal,
Mhm.
and we felt it would be really cool to have someone growling on this song. And we thought right away, well, what about Anders? Uh, we sent him an email. He said, yes, let's do it. And that was it. So it was very easy.
This one is a bad phantom.
Yes, yes.
You like more this song?
I don't know. I don't know actually. It's like
Yeah.
different things. But I really like it also, and it's really fun to play on the drums.
I imagine so. Concerning the lyrics, sometimes I think you have very poetic lyrics.
Hmm.
Is it important for Vola to have these strong lyrics, these intense lyrics in the songs? Is it important for you? And especially for Argers when he sings, do you think it's important for him to feel the lyrics that he's singing?
Hmm. So I think definitely for the band and for my experience with the
Hmm.
music, it is very important. It's one of the main things behind the sound. It's the lyrics and the descriptions, the way he sings. I think that's very important. Um, for Asger, I'm not sure. I would guess that it is important for him as well, for his singing. Um, I think none of us or all of us are emotionally invested in the songs when we perform them,
Hmm.
and I think for him that manifests itself in the lyrics. I could be wrong, but that's my impression at least.
You are close to him, so you're not wrong. I don't believe it. I know that he's a big fan of Meshuggah
Yeah.
when singing. Do you think uh, the way that he's singing now has evolves a lot since you entered the band in 2017, as well as the sound of the band also evolved? Do you think the sound of his voice also evolved and everything is more
Yeah.
mature, do you think?
Yes. Definitely. Definitely. Um, his voice sounded great before, but it sounds more full in terms of life experience.
Of course.
We can hear that he has aged, that his life has developed, things have changed. Um, and I love when you can hear that in someone, vocalist or any other instrument, when you can trace life on that person's art. So I definitely think his voice and singing has changed and developed.
And the way that you play, did it evolve all over the years?
Yes, yes. Um, same same kind of idea. With life has changed, life has happened. I have aged. Um, I allow life to put trace on what I do. I don't want to be a machine. I want it to be audible. this is me at this point playing this, and my mindset has changed. And a big part of my playing is about the choices that I make behind the drum kit. And well, throughout the years, my thoughts and ideas have changed. And that means that the thoughts behind the choices that I make on the drums change. So, yeah.
It's kind of a biography, right?
Yeah.
Each album, like a picture and a frame from
Mm,
that time, that specific time. And when we listen to all the songs and to all the
mm,
albums, we can make a timetable, a time schedule for
mm,
you in the drums, and that's beautiful to see because
mm.
it gives you a lot of work, I suppose.
Yes, 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 it does. But I like the way you put it. It's indeed like a biography. Um, it's the same way with, anything. You watch
Yeah,
a director or you watch a painter and you
yeah.
look at the first compared to the last, and you see that it's like a timeline. Yeah.
I think that is the most valuable thing that creators like
Mm,
painters, writer, actors, musicians have
mm.
related to us pure mortals that don't do anything, just exist, and we live we live with you, and this is beautiful. What would life be without heart? Nothing. Nothing, nothing. Dear Adam, were you surprised by the reception of this album?
In a positive way,
In a
yes.
positive way.
Um, I'm always very happy to see people enjoy our music so much, and to see how they relate to it in their everyday life and how this music speaks to them. And when we get that love returned to us, it's a very, very nice feeling. So I was positively surprised.
Mm.
Yes.
VOLA is now on the high step of the metal scene, universal, a
Mm.
global scene. Do you deal okay with that?
Yes, yes. Um, I really just enjoy this journey and everything that is happening, and just meeting wonderful people all over the world, and get to travel and see beautiful places. I don't know what could be better than that. Like it's happiness in a bottle. So I know that some people have difficulties with this kind of stuff, but I really feel like I'm just exploring the time that I live in, and exploring different places in the world, and exploring the people that live there. So
Yeah.
that's joy for me.
A few weeks I spoke with Steve from Neurosis, and he agrees. It's the best sign that he has when he's with the band and on the road, and he
Mm,
loves it. It's easier for you to, I mean, with the great exposition to the world, shall we say like
mm,
this, there's more pressure. There's more pressure to create and more pressure to communicate with the fans. Um, is it the difficult part? Because we have all the internet and social
mm,
media, and everybody looks at you
mm,
uh, as a person, as a
mm,
musician. It's it's easier now, or it's more difficult because everybody knows Vola.
mm. I find it to be easier now,
Mhm.
for me personally, because I've had time to adjust to it. Like I mentioned earlier, some things most of us are not really haven't been equipped to deal with. And
Yep.
social media is one of those things, and I've been thrown into the world of social media,
Yeah, exactly.
and there have been, a few years of learning how to cope and deal with it. Um, Now I find that the pressure that is there is only the pressure that you yourself create. Um, I'm so happy that the space where I'm at now, headspace where I'm at now. The music creation is just about me exploring the music, and no matter the expectations people have, I don't feel like there is a pressure waiting behind me. Um, I'm just exploring what to do, and I will be here for a few years, and then I will not. And in that time, I just want to make sure to enjoy all of it. And pressure and stress are some of the best ways to remove that kind of joy and to remove years from your life. And
Absolutely.
when time passes with pressure and stress, all of a sudden you look back and you realize that years have disappeared. And I've somehow found a way to avoid that, which I'm very happy for. And I hope more people can live stress free.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Do you think, Adam, that with this album you have found a signature for the way that you play the drums, or are you still exploring?
I'm always exploring, always exploring.
I imagine
Uh,
so.
but I'm happy to hear that some people find that I have a recognizable sound. Um, that's a very, very big compliment whenever I hear that. Um, but yes, I'm always exploring. I feel like I did take some steps forward with this album, but I've also taken steps forward outside of VOLA with the stuff I do on my own side, and all of that kind of connects and they feed off each other. Um, so every experience like this brings something new to me.
Mhm. There's a song, um, you are so great doing titles as you are so great doing songs, because the song is called Break My Lying Tongue. This is
Mm.
wonderful. What? Okay. But it has a little bit of electronic, a rhythm,
Mm.
a little bit more hypnotic, a little different.
Mm.
It was easy for you to play this song?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, technically it wasn't that challenging. Just
Mm-hmm.
had to get to know the song. Um, but for the band, it was a very different song. It's one of those few songs that we have which is in an odd time signature, and it's one of the faster songs that we have as well.
Yeah.
Um, so it did take some time for the band to kind of get into that mood. But I really like that song, and um, the title, it was Asker coming up with that one. And I really like that title as well.
It's wonderful, wonderful title. A good phrase to be on a T-shirt.
Yes.
It's wonderful. Tell me another thing. Do you like the song Bleed Out?
Yeah, I think it's
Ah, oh,
my
of
favorite
course.
from the
Of
album. Yeah.
course. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Because it's the darkest song on the
Yes,
album. That's why you like it. And
exactly.
I would like to ask you, what message Vola want to send us with this specific song?
Mm. The song, I remember I heard Asker talking about it once.
Mm-hmm.
He actually wrote it as um, two people who were separated at birth and grow up in different ways, and it's from the perspective of the one who ended up in the bad place, filled with jealousy. Um, so one of the first sentences is, "I grew teeth, you grew a heart," which clearly shows this. One turns into a monster, and the other grows a loving heart. And for me, seeing this from the perspective of the one who has ended up in a bad place, I've always had um, an interest in, seeing the other the other perspective of the one who's maybe not in the right, the one who is maybe the bad person, seeing how they ended up there, what led them to that, and why they are so convinced that they are the good one when clearly they are so filled with negativity and hurting others. And it sometimes it's very depressive and very sad because you feel for someone like that, and you can see how unfortunate it is that they have ended up in such a bad place, but now they have really molded into something negative and destructive. So you have to kind of cope with those feelings of feeling sorry for them,
Hmm.
but at the same time knowing that if they don't want to, you cannot tame them or befriend them. If someone wants to be evil, no matter how sad it is, well, then that's where the road ends, you know.
Yeah, we have to step away
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
as quickly as possible.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think this album is the most personal album of VOLA until now?
That's possible. That is possible. In Mazes, I don't know because I wasn't part of writing it, so I cannot speak too much about it. But I know that Applause of a Distant Crowd and Witness, they look in an external way on things happening around us. While Friend of a Phantom, I feel like it puts us in the center a bit more, the listener. It puts you in the shoes of whatever song it is. Um, so it feels more internal in that way and more in a closer proximity.
Mhm. Do you think it's cool for you as a musician when somebody approaches the band and the musicians, and tell this song changed my life?
Yes. Yeah.
It's very, I imagine it must be an emotion.
Yes. It is very cool to hear that. It's heartwarming. Um, and I remember, you know, whenever you yourself have a song that really changes your life and really touches you, and now you see that you're on the other side of that, it's yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Do you think that's the best part of being a musician?
It is one of the best parts about it, not the only, but one of the best parts. There is so much to it. um, I would say that same same coin but different side of that coin is the way you can change your own life with the music that you create. That's also something which is maybe not talked about that much, but when you create music from the heart, you're kind of discovering something. And we're not sitting there with a formula and, you know, writing stuff down, math. We are discovering emotions and ideas that we didn't know we had. And when you do that, it takes you yourself on an emotional journey. So that's also one of the magical parts about it.
You're so lucky. I don't know to play anything unless doorbells. Ding dong. Do you have any specific ritual or anything that you do before a gig to warm up or something like that?
We should, but we don't. We try to warm up a bit more. I know Asger now, he's become better at warming up his voice. So he goes away a bit alone and breathes and so on. Um, I try to warm up a little bit. Sometimes I'm not so good at it. Um, I know that there's some things that I've started doing now. My girlfriend taught me, she's a vocalist, so she taught me this kind of body warm up. Um, Basically a 5 minute thing of softly hitting your muscles and warming your body with your hands and stuff like that. So I tried to do that. It actually helps. It works very well. so I can get the blood pumping, and then I drum a little bit, stretch a little bit, and try to get into the mindset of the show. But we don't really have a ritual. We're not like, gathering 15 minutes before the show and saying something. We're just walking around and then it's showtime.
Because when we see a band on stage, we like everybody, but when we see the drum and the drummer, you are like an athletic, because you don't never stop. It's incredible to see, right?
It is one of the perks of being a drummer is that it's like a workout.
Like a workout, exactly.
Yeah.
The others go to the gym, you go to the concert.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you are coming to Portugal, and you already told me that it's your first time in Portugal.
Yes.
So I would like to ask you, what are your Adam expectations concerning this concert, and related to the band? What do you accept, or do you expect as a band to
Mm,
encounter in Portugal, to find in Portugal? What do you
mm.
expect?
I'm expecting warmth,
Yeah,
good temperature, um, but also very warm people.
we are.
Um, yes, I'm very excited for that, and that's what I suspect and what I expect. Um, and just a warm reception from the crowd, happy faces, loud voices,
We
and just a
are
good.
we are a little bit crazy because we have good
Mhm.
red wine.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Cool.
Good food and good red wine. So you
Mm,
like it. You like it.
I'm very excited.
And from our perspective as a audience, what can we expect from you, Vola?
Mm. We hope that the audience will feel included in our music, and that you will feel happy and sad, and that you can explore everything which is within you when you listen to the music, whether it's positive or negative. I feel like when we play, that is the space for it. Let it let it be there, and then maybe walk away with a lighter heart and a slightly more open mind.
Wonderful. I think we could not end it better, because light heart and open mind, the world would be much, much better.
Yes.
Dear Adam, thank you so much. Have
Thank you.
a safe journey to Portugal,
Thank you very
and
much.
I think you'll have the time of your life here.
Awesome. I'm
It
looking
will
forward
be
to
great.
it.
Thank you so much, dear Adam. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's been
Bye
a
bye.
pleasure. Bye.